Hey, thank you very much, and welcome back. If you have just joined us, we've been talking about the Republican Party and how it's kind of withering away into this little rubble of nothing in the corner. I feel like this is really the end for the right as far as, we're concerned, normal human beings in this country. I mean, we've got 60 votes, and we, of course, have Obama/Hitler, which the Republicans have no discomfort in making that comparison. That he's taking over like Ahmadinejad and that they're buddies. And anyway, it's fascinating. It's just unbelievable to me. But meanwhile, there's huge worries on the right from one of the major Republican talking heads, Glenn Beck. For example, that, he'll sit there and he'll say, "Oh, America is being destroyed from within. This isn't the country I recognize. This is insane that we could give health care to everyone. And what's going on? Latino women in the Supreme Court? What is this world coming to? This is the end of America as we know it." So, he'll get on his show and he'll spew just all this trash. And, Republicans, they're very follow the leader-ish. They don't like to think for themselves. So, they're going to turn on his show and, of course, believe everything he's saying. Well, fine. Live in your own little bubble, watch what you want to watch. Great. But recently on Glenn Beck's show, who, by the way, he is not on Headline News anymore. His show is now on Fox News. I know, we're all blown away. We're shocked. Fox News has a Republican show? What? I know. Seriously, this is very serious to me, what happened on his show. He had this guest on, and I want clip 18 in a second, please. He had this guest on, and we've seen this guy before. Clearly, they're never short of their crazy conservatives to pull out of the woodwork. I mean, obviously, they interview Rove as if he's a credible source when he's basically a criminal. And then Liddy, he went to jail, and the same thing with Ollie North. And, it's like they view these guys as clear spokesmen for the right, regardless of their background. They applauded Mr. David Bitter when he came back after he slept with a hooker like he won the lottery or something. So yeah, I mean, these guys will celebrate just about anything, as long as they'll pat each other on the back. What is this, high school? You slept with a hooker? Yeah! Come on! This is our country. This is our way of life we're talking about. We're in a recession. There is a war. But you slept with a hooker. Way to go. Anyway, Beck has this guy on a show by the name of Michael Schur. Now, Michael was one of the heads of the Bin Laden issue station in the government during, I may be slightly wrong on this, but I think it was what I have on my notes here. It says from 1996 to 99. I believe that's accurate, actually. He was one of the guys in charge of getting Osama bin Laden. He wasn't particularly successful, but hey, he was a former CIA employee. So Beck has him on a show, and let's go ahead and see what this guy has to say. Let's play 18, please.
So you have seen this. Do you really honestly believe that we have come to a place to where those very senior people in the highest offices of the land, Congress and the White House, really will not do the right thing in the end, that they won't see the error of their ways?
No, sir, they will not. The only chance we have as a country right now is for Osama bin Laden to deploy and detonate a major weapon in the United States.
Wow. I mean, wow. Unbelievable. I mean, was this maybe their way of thinking in August of 2001? Maybe all those crazy conspiracy theorists aren't completely wrong. I mean, advocating for Osama, so first of all, you have a guest on your show that you would even allow to say something like that. I mean, this is unbelievable. So you have a former CIA agent on your show, on national television, the fair and balanced Fox News station, Mr. Glenn Beck. You have this guy on your show, and that you would allow him to spew this massive amount of unpatriotic hate. I mean, that you would allow that in the first place is a big deal. And the second big deal is that you're sitting there and you're talking to him like he's a buddy. I mean, yes, people say stuff all the time that's crazy. Hell, if you ever listen to my show, I open my mouth a couple times. In fact, Sassy Girl 99, thank you so much for your lovely video on YouTube, as if people didn't know why I got fired. But I'm sorry, we're not going to play Dem Chris Crocker on a political show. It's a long story. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, it's fine. Just ignore me. But, you know, some people are out there thinking they're going to, you know, get me down. No. I mean, give me a break. It baffles me that Glenn Beck would allow this type of rhetoric on his show, this type of, you know, propaganda, hate speech from a former CIA employee. I mean, I understand. I do. I understand that people maybe say things they shouldn't sometimes, and that's fine. But as the host of your show, Mr. Glenn Beck, I'm sure you backpedaled, right? No? No, you didn't? Wait, what? He didn't backpedal at all? No, well, clearly he didn't. Let's listen to this. Play part B too. Yeah, let's listen again. Here we go.
Because it's going to take a grassroots, bottom-up pressure, because these politicians prize their office, prize the praise of the media and the Europeans. It's an absurd situation again. Only Osama can execute an attack which will force Americans to demand that their government protect them effectively, consistently, and with as much violence as necessary.
Which is why I was thinking this weekend that would be if I were him, that would be the last thing I would do right now.
So, now, Glenn Beck has a lot of thoughts that, you know, he likes to share regarding Osama bin Laden, and his guest thinks that the only way that we will save us from ourselves, you know, from doing the horrible work of, you know, giving health care to underprivileged people, to improving our schools, from going from a oil-based economy to a green economy. Well, the only person that can stop us is Osama bin Laden. And I guess I have to present to my audience now the new hero of the right, according to Glenn Beck and his gang of Republicans. It is absolutely unbelievable to me. You know, you have people like Glenn Beck who will bash liberals because being a liberal is so horrible. Bill O'Reilly, who calls you a crazy liberal, that, you know, you're not mainstream America. I'm sorry, is mainstream America now advocating for Osama bin Laden to attack us again? The only way we're going to be able to save ourselves is if we have another terrorist attack in this country with as much violence as possible. I mean, honestly, to say something like that on television, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, isn't there something illegal going on there? To sit there and say that you want another terrorist attack to happen, that's the only way? I mean, what? And Osama bin Laden, of all people? All the conspiracy theorists out there that have been bashed anytime they open their mouths were saying that the government had something to do with 9/11. And, you know, every time they say something like that, they're told, oh, shut the hell up, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, just... I don't know if you heard that, but the fire alarms are going off. I'm going to keep talking until, you know, the power goes out, I guess, if there's a fire. But, you know, anytime these conspiracy theorists would open their mouths, we have to take a break. We have to take a break, but we will be right back after this, I guess. All right, we're back. If you just joined us, we had to take a quick break. The fire alarms were going off, and it's procedure that we evacuate the building. So that's what we did. It's a false alarm. No worries. Everybody's okay. So we're back, and we were talking about Glenn Beck, how he had this guest on his show, former CIA agent. His name is Michael Schuer, and he said basically that our government is so terrifying and out of control that the only way we'll be able to save each other from ourselves is if Osama bin Laden has another massive attack on our I'm going to ignore the alarms now. Has another massive attack on our country. Now, I mean, if you were to walk down the street and say something like that, you would get the crap beat out of you, or you'd get shot. I mean, you can't. What happened to being a patriot? So what? Your Bush administration is out of office now. This country says we don't want a Republican as president anymore. We're electing a Democrat. So now you don't have to be patriotic. What happened to the Republican Party saying to all the liberals and people and Democrats, people that could think for themselves, if you don't support the war in Iraq, then you are not a patriot. You are being un-American. I believe it was Rumsfeld that said that. So what happened to that whole philosophy, that way of thinking? Oh, well, America didn't elect McCain and Palin, so we don't have to be American anymore. Osama bin Laden needs to come here. We need another terrorist attack. And then, after we're able to show everybody how much our government sucks, the Republicans are going to be the majority again. That's the only way America will step up and elect the right government. Okay, so you want us to be attacked in hopes that we will suddenly support the Republican Party. I mean, I don't know how someone like Glenn Beck, who supposedly is a Christian, born-again Christian, with his wife, his family, would allow this kind of rhetoric on his show. It's just propaganda. It's putting the fear out there. And my point being, with all these conspiracy theorists that were saying that the government had something to do with September 11th, to hear something like this from a former CIA employee on the Glenn Beck show, I'm starting to wonder, did they say back in August of 2001, the only way America is going to stand up and fight is if Osama bin Laden attacks our country? I mean, gosh, I thought it would be crazy for them to ever say anything like that. But after hearing what I've heard and what you have now heard, I'm not so sure. Is it possible that the Republican Party, I mean, what happened to Country First? What happened to the Straight Talk Express? The whole Republican Party was behind McCain with his slogans. They must agree, right? What happened to that? Saying you want Osama bin Laden to attack your country is not Country First. I'm sorry. And to think that Osama bin Laden is a better alternative than an Obama administration, it's just insane to me. The Republican Party is literally withering away into a pile of dust. They're going to be swept under a rug and hopefully never heard from again. I doubt it, but, I like to think that it could be true one day. It's just, these Republicans are so out there, and this extreme conservative way of thinking is just, it's so troubling to me, because their way of thinking represents, I don't know, 1940, not 2009. It's 2009. It's time to progress. It is time to quit being so ignorant and divided. Then again, The Republican philosophy is and always will be divide and conquer. Make government so small that you could drown it in the bathtub. Feed the people so much propaganda that they are terrified. So people will act and behave and function a certain way. I'm sorry, but that is not a free country. That is not America. This country was founded on the principles of being superior to the rest of the world, to being better than the rest of the world, to being more liberated and free than the rest of the world. And these Republicans with their conservative, you either fit into my box or we hate you way of thinking just does not cut it for me anymore. They're nothing but a bunch of lying crooks. Hell, go Google Sarah Palin. Take a look at what she's been up to right now. As soon as we have confirmed facts, I guarantee you I'm going to spend a week talking about it. This party is full of corruption. Democrats are not perfect. I will never advocate that they are. But when I say lesser of two evils, I mean really lesser of two evils. It does not even compare. Does not even compare. It's like the Democrats would be a child in class throwing spitballs up on the ceiling compared to Jeffrey Dahmer on the Republican side. I mean, that's how much of a contrast there is when I say lesser of two evils. It's unbelievable. We need to go to another break again. Unfortunately, we have to take our scheduled break now. The break we took before was kind of an involuntary break. This one, unfortunately, is too. We need to go to station break, but we will be back in just a couple minutes. I'd like to take your calls. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this.